Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Madness live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Google MF Michael Fletcher alongside the boys Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. Gentlemen, you already know how we normally break this down. We normally do NXT, then we do AEW. Tonight was their anniversary show, of Dynamite, and then we'll round it out with the preview for Thursday Night Football, as this week it is the Indianapolis Colts versus the Denver Broncos. And late breaking news earlier this afternoon, a major impact towards Indianapolis that could make us sway more one way than the other, but we'll get into that later in the night. So we start off with NXT. Had a little bit of some promo stuff that started the show. Then our first evening was Oro Mansa versus Carmelo Hayes. When it was all said and done, Carmelo Hayes wins the match in 5 minutes and 35 seconds, which was, good showing for both men. This was a fun little sprint. I could say maybe 2.5 stars. But the outcome was never in doubt. You got to give it to the A champ, the A list, the A star, Carmelo Hayes. He'll get the win here. But for Oro, not a bad loss. It was a good performance in his part. So 2.5. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll tell you, MF. Solid start here. It was a fine match, but it came off rushed, if I'm being honest. I mean, with Mensah hoping to prove his worth in NXT, this loss in a short match takes away from his mystique. He did not need to win, but he hardly looked like a threat. Currently, he is the odd man out in the ladder match. Everyone else who has qualified could legitimately win. The A champion likely has the lowest odds only because he has already held it for most of the year. And Mensah hit a springboard moonsault on the A champ for a near fall. I'll give it 2.5 stars for the effort. Fun little sprint. So not much more to say here. So Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll give it about 2.5. I mean, it was a fun little sprint. I mean, obviously, Carmelo Hayes. I mean, had to give it to him to give him some momentum going into that North American title ladder match that's going to go down at Halloween Havoc. So, nice little showcase for Mansa. So, yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. So, let's move on, Fletch.
All right, next up that we do have was Andre Chase going one-on-one with Von Wagner, and the winner of this will be added to the North American Championship fight at Halloween Havoc. And it was Von Wagner winning the match in 3 minutes and 36 seconds. He punches his ticket to the ladder match. We don't really need to talk about this one. If you guys want to talk about it quickly, you can. But if not, then we'll just move on to, then we had Wendy Chu versus Lash Legend. Wendy Chu won the match. We'll just bypass that one. All right, this we won't. Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane went up against Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark. The winners will receive a future title shot at the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Winners of the bout, 10 minutes and 28 seconds. Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark, Anthony Florio. We found ourselves the new number one contenders for the NXT Women's Tag Team Gold.
Yes, indeed. And I'll tell you what. Originally, this was scheduled to be a 6-woman tag team match with Zoe Stark, Nikita Lyons, and Alba Fire against all 3 members of Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan, JC Jane, and the women's champion, Mandy Rose. But they did an angle where Alba Fire kidnapped Mandy Rose, I guess you could say. And where I'm getting at is, in my opinion, it was awkward to promote only 2 matches for this show and then change one of them. But this would have been the better bout to market. with the higher stakes, this felt so much bigger than a traditional 6-woman tag. It was a strong match for the NXT women's division, though clearly formulaic. Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark had to win as the fresher and more legitimate immediate challengers. But it would be a shame to end the reign of MF's girls, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, so soon. And as I mentioned earlier, Toxic Attraction arrived at the building only to be ambushed by Alba Fire, who kidnapped Mandy Rose and drove off. And this led to the match change. And Carter and Chance, they talked up the history that brought them to finally capturing the women's tag team championships. They were showed watching backstage. And then Nikita Lyons planted JC Jane with a spinning heel kick and tagged in Stark, who walked into a big forearm for Jane to barely escape a finish. One of the fights of the night, no question about it. I will give this about 3 to 3.25 for the effort. It's definitely up there. It's one of the few bright spots of this show. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, Nikita Lyons, Zoe Stark, golden opportunity for them. They will now be facing Katana Chance and Kaden Carter down the line for the women's tag team championships. And I'm thinking the earliest possible date could be Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening too at Halloween Havoc. So strange. This was supposed to be a 6-woman tag, like you said, but Alba Fire basically kidnapped Mandy Rose, and instead we got ourselves a number one contenders match for the women's tag team titles, and it turned out to be a good one. So 3.25 is my rating. Look, part of me wants to see Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark get their moment, because remember, guys, these two were originally supposed to be in that WWE Women's Tag Team Title tournament, and of course that never happened. But part of me wants to see them win those NXT Women's Tag Team titles, but on the other hand, I think it's too soon to take the titles off of Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. So we'll wait and see what happens here. But 3.25 is my rating for this. One of the top fights of the night, and one of the few, like you said, one of the few bright spots on this edition of NXT. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, like you said, I thought it was fine. I thought it was all right. It was nothing more. 3 stars. Could have been better, but it is what it is, and it was fine for what it was worth. Then we had a whole bunch of different things. Promo segment, or yeah. So it was the Waller Effect show. He literally had Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade. They were started going at it. Well, then Grayson Waller dropped the nuke. And boys, it wouldn't be Halloween Havoc without one of the biggest staples of the Halloween Havoc tradition. Spin the wheel and make the deal. Before everything went out, then we had Apollo Crews. Crews dressed up as a security guard. And we had a little bit of some stuff going on after that. But they spun the wheel and it landed on a Weapons Wild match. And now you're wondering, what does that mean? All right, here's how it goes. Weapons will be laid out across the arena. Anything goes, winner by pinfall or submission. Any weapon that they can get their hands on is considered legal and fair game. You want to bring the kitchen sink? Bring the freaking kitchen sink. A skateboard will most likely be used, and a baseball bat will definitely come into play, because that's been kind of the weapons of choice for these ladies lately. So, oh boy, this just got interesting. Cora versus Roxanne, Weapons Wild at Halloween Havoc. Woo! That's gonna be fun. Then we had Julius Creed versus Duke Hudson. Julius Creed wins in 52 seconds. Then after that, we had more promo stuff. Exxon Quinn versus Hank Walker, and Exxon Quinn wins the match in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Led us to the main event. The Brawling Brutes, Butch and Ridge Holland, fighting Pretty Deadly for the NXT Tag Team Championships of the World. Pretty Deadly successfully defends the titles. 12 minutes and 27 seconds. Michael Bullock, you lead off.
Yeah, this to me was the fight of the night. I'll give it 3.5 stars. I mean, I could have given it a much higher rating, but obviously we had a couple of uninvited guests to the table that stuck their nose in it. It was the two members of Imperium, Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci. They end up costing the Brawling Brutes their chance at the NXT Tag Team titles. So obviously they want to continue building towards that 6-person Donnybrook match at Extreme Rules. So yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. 3.5 stars. It's yours, Fletch.
3.5 stars, solid main event, no doubt about it. Could have been a lot more better, but it is what it is. Really nothing more to say. Anthony, go.
Once again, the main event of NXT was far and away the fight of the night, though this was hardly a surprise. The Brawling Brutes are explosive competitors who have been waiting for chances like this to show off. Pretty Deadly challenged them to compete at a level not far removed from their war with the Usos. It is just a shame the messy finish took away from an otherwise great title bout. Pretty Deadly survived and immediately moved on to unfortunately lesser competition. And you noticed Briggs and Jensen, as well as Idris Anafi and Malik Blade, found the Brawling Brutes backstage and asked for a title shot if Butch and Holland had won. Show ended with both teams clearly challenging Pretty Deadly. Wilson tried to stop Holland with a sleeper hold, but the Englishman marched into the corner and set up Butch for a sunset flip powerbomb off the hot tag. Prince pushed Wilson off his back into a lung blower on Butch for a near fall. And Holland took out Prince as Pretty Deadly went for spilt milk, and Prince barely saved Wilson after the bitter end. Fantastic match. Yes, the interference took away from it. It would have been a higher rating, but 3.5 is definitely the best we can do on this one. And it was the fight of the night, no doubt about it. And MF, another week, another
lackluster NXT. I agree. I can only give this maybe 4.5. Look, it's starting to feel like the old NXT under Triple H. I'm telling you right now, the NXT during the weeks were never that great. Some were good, some were some were 50-50. Watch out for Halloween Havoc. I'm telling you now, they're setting it up to be a massive bombshell. And it's going to be insane what could happen that night. So, obviously, we're a little disappointed. We were hoping that NXT would be a little more better, but 4.5. That's all I can give it. Anthony, it's yours.
I'm sorry, MF. I think you're being a little too generous on this, if I'm being honest. I can only give it a 3 out of 10, to be honest with you. For the main event, the women's tag team matchup, and that Waller Effect segment with Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. Those are the only things you really need to see from last night's show. Other than that, everything else, and no. I got to give it between 3, 3.5, or somewhere in that area, because that Mello and Mensa, was a fun little sprint. So I'll give it between 3 and 3.5 out of 10. Another edition of NXT, and they may have removed the 2.0, but let's be realistic, gentlemen. It's still they're still booking it like a 2.0 show. And that's why NXT each and every week is an absolute chore to get through, and that's all there is to it. And it seems like every time I watch that show on Tuesday nights, I'm saying to myself, I can't wait for it to be over. That's how bad it is. But thankfully, on the 18th, that's not going to be an issue because AEW Dynamite's doing a special Tuesday Dynamite, and I am not wasting one damn second on NXT. You better believe it. I'm going to be all in I'm going to be all in on Dynamite, no pun intended. So, but anyways, give it 3.5 for this effort. But we'll see about Halloween Havoc. I hope MF is right, but we'll have to wait and see on it. So, but for right now, it's a 3 to 3.5. Bullock take it home, and then we'll get into the 3-year anniversary edition of AEW Dynamite.
Yeah, I'm giving this 2.5. I mean, this was just another freaking lackluster edition of NXT. I mean, yes, you had the 2 good matches and that good promo segment, but everything else just pretty much stunk up the damn joint. And I hate to say it, guys. I mean, they may have got rid of the 2.0, but it still feels like NXT 2.0. I mean, what's going on here? I mean, is McMagma and his Bucktooth Beaver buddy Kevin Dunn hiding somewhere in the back, still running the damn thing? Because it certainly got the feeling of it. So, I mean, I hope things do get better with this show, but if I'm going to be honest, guys, I'm not going to hold my breath on that. I mean, I really hope this Halloween Havoc is a damn good show, but we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, it's under a different management, but in the end, NXT, it still feels like 2.0. Sorry.
Relax,
let's get into
guys.
that.
Relax, because here's the thing. Even when Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and the boys were running NXT Black and Gold, not every show was a home run hit. It wasn't until they did their special events, whenever it was TakeOver or anything like that, that's where they made their bread and butter. That's when everybody took notice on NXT. These weekly shows were not their best shows. And even I'll openly admit it. It's being formulaic. It's going back to the old ways. Are we happy about it? No, we're not. We want to see NXT do better on weekly programming. We want to see them elevate and get better. But give it time. There's going to be some growing pains because remember, we are coming off of the McMahon era. We are trying new things around. There's new lighting. The ring apron is different now, or the layout looks a lot more different now. Now it's gone back to the gold and the white and everything else. So no, am I worried about NXT right now? Absolutely not. I'm not worried about it. I know it's going to get better. I know it's going to hit. Once Halloween Havoc rolls around, trust me, guys, we're going to be going crazy over that show. We're going to lose our minds. They're already setting it up to be a pretty damn good show already. So, no, I get where you're coming from. I know you guys are very hard on NXT because of that. And I know, Bullock, because NXT is your baby. So, don't worry, man. I'm telling you right now, I'm taking a page out of Aaron Rodgers, man. Relax. That's all I'm going to say. Just relax, guys. It's going to get there. And I get it, too. I get the frustration. I wasn't really happy with NXT at all, and I'll openly admit it. But I know these guys. I know what Triple H is not going to let NXT fall by the wayside. This was his original baby. This was his original idea. So no, NXT will be fine. Don't worry about it. They'll be fine. So AEW 3-year anniversary show from the Entertainment and Sports Arena in Washington, D.C. We started it off with Wheeler Yuta versus MJF. MJF wins the match in 14 minutes and 45 seconds. Great opening match. Great matchup. Great fight. Back and forth. Went up and down the building. It was truly incredible. This was easily 4 stars. I mean, it could have been better, but MJF wins the match. Yet then you had a little bit of some screwy stuff after the match. I don't know if MJF was trying to turn over a new leaf or it was this classic match with Jacob Freeman. You know, we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out because Stokey Hathaway was going to try to harm Wheeler Yuta. Then Mr. William Regal, who was on commentary, brought out the infamous brass knuckles. And we all know when Mr. William Regal brings out brass knucks, that means somebody's about to get an imprint and somebody's going to be bleeding. So, yeah, nothing more to say. Solid opener. Anthony, it's yours.
Power of the Punch, anyone?
Uh-huh.
We all remember that 20 years ago. Absolutely. The match was damn good, as should have been expected. No one has ever doubted Wheeler Yuta's abilities between the ropes, and MJF has repeatedly proven himself to be one of the best workers in all of AEW. With that said, however, a match like this would have meant so much more if MJF was working with someone fans believed could actually beat him. As talented as Wheeler Yuta is, he is not yet a mega star, no matter how hard AEW attempts to push him as one. He is clearly a step below MJF, and it showed late, hurting the drama they were hoping to build, as no one actually thought the former Ring of Honor Pure Champion had a chance in hell of beating the man poised to make a world title run in the coming weeks. But still, it was a damn good wrestling match, and that's going to be reflected in our without a doubt will be reflected in our rating. I'm right there with MF. It's a 4-star match. And MJF strutted past Yuta and drew chants of his name from the audience. Wheeler Yuta sold his arm after MJF spent time working on it, the injury preventing him from fully executing an Irish whip. Series of roll-ups ensued, with referee Bryce Remsburg counting several 2 counts along the way, neither man able to keep the other down. And for the third time, MJF rolled out of the way as if to prevent Yuta from executing a big splash, and this time he added a middle finger. Yuta jumped anyway, crashing on MJF and scoring a near fall. So, fantastic match. One of the fights of the night. You could certainly make an argument for fight of the night. I wouldn't be mad at it. Solid 4 stars. Great jump off. So, not much more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Like you said, this is definitely a good way to start off this edition of Dynamite. This was indeed a 4-star match. I mean, these two could definitely get it done in the ring, and that's what we saw. And no doubt, I mean, this to me was the right outcome. I mean, MJF, obviously they're continuing to build on him, and I mean, look, I mean, Wheeler Yuta. I mean, I wasn't that much into him when he was with the Best Friends, but ever since they put him with the Blackpool Combat Club, he has gotten a whole lot better, and trust me, he will be a star one day, and he will get that opportunity at the world title. Just give it some time, and he will get there. So, nothing more else for me to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Darby Allin goes one-on-one with Jay Lethal. Darby Allin wins the match in 9 minutes and 49 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
3 stars for this. Somewhere between 3 to 3.25 for it. The match was perfectly who can deliver it seemingly with their eyes closed. There was nothing dynamic or explosive about it, but it did feature some good legwork from Jay Lethal, and the post-match teased the breakup with Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt, which is probably in his best interest. And after the match, Lethal showed Allin respect to the dismay of his associates. So give this about 3, teetering on 3.25 for this. So not much more to say here. Bullock, we had a small little chat earlier about this, and could this be the end of the alliance between Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh? Maybe.
I think so, because here's the thing. I mean, Jay Lethal is so good. He doesn't need Sanjay Dutt and the big guy. I mean, I think Jay Lethal can make it out on his own. I mean, I can understand they're trying to push this group here, but it really hasn't gotten them anywhere. So, but you have Jay Lethal on his own, and you'll start to see a whole lot more out of it. So, yeah, I mean, Jay Lethal showed respect to Darby Allin after the match, and Sanjay Dutt was not happy about it. I'm like, you know what, Sanjay Dutt? I got a little message for you, you pretty boy hair gel wearing douchebag. If you can't stand respect, you know what? Just get the hell out of the business. As a matter of fact, you should get out anyway because you're just so annoying with the way you talk. So that's all I gotta say. It's yours, Fletch.
All right. With that said, we
So,
move.
three and a quarter is my rating. I forgot to give it.
Oh, okay. 3 1/4. Okay. Yeah, 3 1/4 is solid, solid match. I thought they did pretty well with it. Next up we had was Wardlow versus Brian Cage for the TNT Championship. The winner of the bout and still the TNT champion was Wardlow. 9 minutes and 40 seconds. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
2.5 to 3 is my rating for this. I mean, it was a solid match. I mean, the outcome to me was never in doubt, but we had all sorts of chaos after the match. I mean, you had the Samoa Joe, and then you had the other group members of that faction that was with Brian Cage. So it was just utter chaos here. So yeah, there's nothing more for me to say. It's yours, Fletch.
I can go three. I'll say three. I thought it was all right. I thought it could have been a little more better, but it was solid for what it was worth. So really, nothing more to add. Anthony, it's yours.
3 to 3 and a quarter for me. Be a man fight, guys. That's what this was.
Mm.
And Brian Cage has been absent from AEW television for a long time, and he has been criminally underutilized by AEW. And like him or not, he is an immensely talented heavyweight competitor. And that was on full display here tonight, as he showed up and showed out against Wardlow in a match that should earn him some more looks from management. Post match was fine, but it really highlighted a major issue with AEW booking: the complete misuse of FTR, who continues to be one of the most popular acts in the company, but are being woefully underutilized in key positions. And why is the most decorated tag team in the industry not competing for the AEW World Tag Team titles again? But anyways, Wardlow caught Cage during a 619 and delivered a power slam. Cage delivered a suplex from the apron into the ring, and the crowd's eruption for Harwood and Wheeler was special, and hopefully the right people were listening backstage. And Friday night, Battle of the Belts, FTR will be defending the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship against the Gates of Agony on Friday night. There's an MF special right there, because I know MF knows those guys. So there isn't much more to say on this. 3 3 and a quarter, solid be a man fight, which I think is good, which I thought was a nice table setter for the be a man fight that we're going to see on Friday night with Gunther and Sheamus. So there's no doubt about that. So 3 3 and a quarter. Let's move on.
Next up, we had was a 6-woman tag team match. Serena Deeb, Jamie Hayter, and Penelope Ford going up against Willow Nightingale, Athena, and Toni Storm. And it was the face team winning the match in 8 minutes and 48 seconds. Solid match. Good. It was good for what it was worth. It was about 3 stars again. Nothing too crazy. Everybody played their roles. After the fight was over, major chaos, and Saraya got to mix it up a little bit. So finally got to fight a little bit. Got to show that it was a little sample. It wasn't a full. It wasn't like full on Arsenal for us, but at least we could see that. Hey, yeah, she's starting to get back into the swing of things. So it's only a matter of time before we see her finally get back in the ring and fighting for AEW. So it looks like it looks like they're setting it up that way. It's a slow burn, but yeah, it was pretty cool. Anthony, it's yours.
3 stars for the effort here. There was so much talent involved here, and the crowd was red hot for both Serena Deeb and Jamie Hayter. But this still felt like more of the same out of this women's division. There is so much talent, but all of it is directionless. Saraya and Dr. Britt Baker were over, yes, but neither was actually in the match. And although it was beyond exciting to see Willow Nightingale score a humongous win, it still appears to be as messy and unfocused as it has ever been. Saraya getting physical on a wrestling show for the first time since 2017 is going to get the most attention, and understandably so. And it's somewhat of a championship committee moment because of the fact that Willow Nightingale scored the win, but she's not getting a women's title shot against Toni Storm. No. Friday night Battle of the Belts, she's going to be challenging Jade Cargill for the TBS championship. Definitely need to keep an eye on that. So with that being said, a solid 3 for the effort here. So, Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, 3 stars for me. I mean, it was fine for what it was. Could have been better, absolutely, but yeah, we finally got that first little glimpse of Saraya getting physical for the first time since 2017. So they're really starting to slowly build her to the point where we'll finally see her get back into a professional wrestling ring. And I know they're pushing for that match with her and Dr. Britt Baker. So I mean, it's obvious with what we're seeing here. But yeah, Willow Nightingale gets the win, but she's going to get a shot at the TBS title on Friday night when she faces off against Jade Cargill at Battle of the Belts. Yeah, I mean, but I'm sure she'll give it a best effort. But the old saying, Florio, what is Willow Nightingale just going to be after Friday night?
Just another victim, next victim.
Exactly. She's just going to be the next victim for Jade Cargill. So, nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
All right. And with that said, we move on along to the next match. That was Rush going 1-on-1 with Hangman Adam Page. Hangman Adam Page wins the match in 9 minutes and 16 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
Theme of the night, another 3 to 3.25 stars here. The match itself was fine. Hangman and Rush didn't have the in-ring chemistry that El Toro Blanco had with Jon Moxley, but it was still an uber competitive bout that highlighted the top contender but gave Rush another loss he really could not afford. The post-match promo from Jon Moxley was great, and his words of wisdom to Hangman about his mouth getting him in trouble and young kids in the locker room saying stupid stuff was a nice nod to the real-life goings-on behind the scenes. And their title match on October 18 as part of that special Tuesday Dynamite, that match is going to be fantastic. And this was a nice little tease for it. And Jon Moxley warned Hangman. He said, in 13 days, I'm going to leave my house. I'm going to walk down Vine Street, and I'm going to show up at the Heritage Bank Center, and I'm going to break your face. And then Hangman said in rebuttal, if you've been waiting for this for so long, where the hell are you going right now? And then Moxley warned Hangman about his mouth getting him in trouble and vowed to beat him in Cincinnati. So with that, this was 3 to 3.25. Post-match was fantastic. That title match is going to be a banger on that Tuesday Dynamite. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, your thoughts on all this?
What did you give this, Florio?
I gave it 3 to 3.25. What do you say?
I'm in that same route, 3.25. I mean, yeah, Roos definitely gave Adam Hangman Page all he could handle, but the outcome was never in doubt. I mean, you want to give Hangman Adam Page some momentum going into his big AEW World Title match in 13 days on the special Tuesday edition of AEW Dynamite. And like you said, that match is definitely going to be a banger. So yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, 3.25, no doubt about it. The aftermatch was pretty cool. Then we had ourselves a pretty entertaining promo by the Acclaim and with by the Acclaim and with Billy Gunn. However, it was interrupted by Swerve Strickland, and Swerve actually called his shot. Actually challenged Billy Gunn to a match, and yeah, it was fine. That was pretty funny. Fuego del Sol versus Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus wins in 29 seconds. Dud, worst fight of the night. Led us to the main event of the evening, as it was Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Now, we were actually a little perplexed here because rumors swirled earlier today that before AEW went on the air, an altercation actually broke out between Andrade El Idolo and Sammy Guevara, and a fight had broken out backstage, and we all thought that Sammy and Andrade were both kicked out of the building. Well, no. Apparently, Andrade was kicked out. Sammy actually was allowed to stay and do this match. So take that for what it's worth. Winners of the bout in 14 minutes and 12 seconds, Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho. Sammy Guevara pins Daniel Garcia for the win. Well, chalk that up for sports and entertainment. Michael Bullock, you lead off, my friend.
All right. Well, first off, I mean, I'm just gonna make this short and sweet to the point. First off, what was the time of the fall, Fletch?
14-12.
Yeah. Fight of the night, 3.5 stars. I mean, this was definitely. I mean, one of the other top fights of the night, probably second best fight of the night. But all right, now getting into this whole thing, when I saw this about Andrade and Sammy Guevara having a backstage altercation where they threw down in the back. I mean, and that's when they said both of them got thrown out, but then they said Andrade got thrown out, but Sammy Guevara was allowed to stay. I mean, when I first heard of this, guys, I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I thought we were done with this freaking drama after the whole Elite and CM Punk situation. I mean, and it's like we're right back to where we started. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on with all this. I mean, okay, Tony Khan, where is your damn leadership in all this? These things are not supposed to happen backstage. You need to get control of your locker room. You need to tell them, check your egos out the door, and let's worry about entertaining for our fans. This is the second time you had something like this happen. If you don't get this thing straightened out and tell them to freaking knock it off, you could be heading down the same path that WCW did. You had too many egos, so many backstage nonsense that got out of control. And what happened, Fletch, after WCW when they had all this shit?
Yeah, they folded. They ended up folding.
And if Tony Khan can't get control of this situation, they're going to go down the freaking toilet and follow the same path that WCW did. They folded, and I'm going to feel so bad for those superstars that had nothing to do with this. Absolutely nothing. So, Tony Khan, in the immoral words of Angry Edge, wake up! I'm done. I'm done with this. It's yours, Fletch.
All right. 3.5 stars. Good main event. Great matchup. Obviously, the overbooked finish. really takes away from the main event itself. And like you've been saying, Michael Bullock, the drama, the drama from AEW is really getting bad. And supposedly, this actually started on social media. Sammy Guevara and Andrade have been going at each other for the last few days. There's been some war of the words that's been going on, and it escalated to a point that now we had a full scale fight backstage, but even before the show even started. Like, no, 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 no. You know, I know Andrade is I don't know what's going on with Andrade because it looks like Andrade might be on his way out of AEW. The rumor going around is that he's leaving AEW. That's a rumor that's been going around, circulating, everything else. Supposedly, the match that he was supposed to have tonight, the career versus Mask, he was actually supposed to lose that fight tonight. And his AEW career was done. So they were talking about him leaving AEW. Maybe does this set him up possibly going back to WWE? Is that him setting up to be a full-timer with AAA? I don't know. But one thing is for sure. It looks like his days as a member of All Elite Wrestling might be numbered. And especially now that this fight happened, I just don't see how he survives this. I think he's looking for any way to get out of his contract because I think they might be setting him up to bring him back to WWE. I think he notices and sees what's going on in WWE. He likes what the product is looking like with Triple H running it, running the company now. And you notice one other thing. We haven't seen Zelina Vega. She's been injured, but we haven't even seen her in a while. Why has she not come back? What if they could be setting it up of reuniting Andrade Cien Almas with Zelina Vega? I'm putting it out there. I'm putting it out for the whole universe right now. Could this be the setup of what could be leading to something even bigger? Because remember, Zelina Vega and Andrade, they were ruling NXT. They were a bona fide superstars. And then McMahon messed it up. And we all can blame McMahon on this one. But I mean it, guys. What if Andrade and Zelina might be reuniting? Imagine what Raw or even SmackDown will look like with them back together. Oh my goodness. Game changer. So I'm ready, man. I think that what might be happening. Just me personally, just my own personal thoughts. I think El Idolo might be heading back to WWE. And I think he's trying any way to get out of AEW. Just personal thoughts. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
And to put this whole thing to bed on my end, Bullock hit me up earlier. He wanted my thoughts on it, and and Bullock made all my points for me. I mean, that's exactly what I told him. This. I mean, I thought AEW was chugging along again. Because the whole Punk and Elite situation is almost dead now. And then we also had that situation with Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston, and now this, and that's why this company is in the shape that it's in right now, because of BS like that. That's why. And this is exactly what happened in WCW. And what happened? WCW went belly up, and that was it. So, it's a damn shame. 3 years ago, we were rooting for this company to kick all kinds of ass. And while it has on many occasions, they got to find a way to, work on this. And that's why we've been saying it. What a difference a year makes. A year ago, AEW was the hot hand. WWE was, the drizzling you-know-whats because of the mech shows we were getting damn near every week because of the McMagma regime and all that. And now 1 year later, WWE is the hot hand. They're way on the rise, and AEW is now on the decline. And BS like this is the reason why. So
And the thing is, for you heard that crowd tonight in Washington when Sammy Guevara and eventually get the pinfall. They were all over him. They know what he. They know what he.
X-Pac heel heat, X-Pac go away heat. That's what it is. And
not only that, but did you see that front row? They looked pissed.
I don't blame
I mean, they looked really like. I mean, you saw middle fingers. You saw, thumbs
again,
down. You saw the look in the faces of the fans. Look, AEW has a great moment when they send the folks home happy. This is not one of those moments tonight.
No, indeed.
No.
Yeah, and I would not be surprised that those same people in the front were giving him the middle finger again.
And
maybe also a Ty Mello as well.
Well, remember, Ty wasn't out there.
No, Ty wasn't out there.
She was nowhere to be seen. She's got a fight on Friday. So
her and Anna Jay against Madison Rain and Sky Blue.
Yeah.
That goes down Friday.
Goes down Friday. So
we'll
see what happens with that reaction. But the thing is, Ty didn't do any of this. This had nothing to do with her.
It was all Sammy.
This is all Sammy. And all Andrade.
He's a problem. I hate to say it, but he's a cancer in that locker room. I hate to say it.
A lot of people's been saying that.
And it's a damn shame.
Exactly.
And it's a damn shame because a year ago, we were rooting for this young man. This young man a year ago was winning the hearts of all of us. He won the TNT championship, beat Miro, and we thought he was on his way to bigger and better things. And now,
he was the reason why Fuego del Sol is in AEW.
Yeah.
Put him over. And now 1 year later, he goes from being a lovable underdog babyface to a scumbag, hair gelling, pretty boy, D-bag, piece of you-know-what.
Yeah.
So,
that's the point of go away.
Yeah, because I think it's his and I'm going to say it,
ego.
The attitude. The ego. Exactly. Because it's gotten bigger. He thinks that he's untouchable now because of his position in AEW. He knows the right people. So he's pushing the wrong buttons, the wrong people to mess with. And it's I don't know.
No lying team.
And then on top of that, for him to get the winning fall here tonight,
nuclear heat.
I mean,
that's nuclear heat.
That pretty much tells you everything you need to know about Tony Khan. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. I think he appreciates the body of work of Sammy Guevara, which no problem. But he's backing the wrong people because I'm telling you right now, those are the people that's gonna sink your company, Tony. I'm just saying. I'm leaving it at that.
That's gonna sink your damn company, and it's gonna go in the same direction that WCW did. And what happened? They went out of business.
Yeah.
If Tony Khan doesn't lead by example, AEW is going to end up the same result. Dead.
So we'll see.
Done. Period.
All right.
So let me get into this now. All right. Guevara picking up the fall despite a very obvious, very real hatred for him by the fans was an utterly tone-deaf way to close out the show. There were ways to get the heels the win without having to go there, and it felt like a giant middle finger to the audience, who did not dislike Guevara for anything he did on screen. The match itself was very good, as should be expected given the participants. Bryan Danielson was great, Daniel Garcia continued to shine under the big lights, and Jericho was there. if nothing else, he continues to put in the work to prove he belongs with today's best. And for that, he has definitely earned some acclaim. Very loud, unflattering chant rained down on Guevara early. Undoubtedly the result of Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select's report of the backstage altercation with Andrade El Idolo earlier in the afternoon. Bryan Danielson exploded into the ring off the hot tag and unloaded on both men. On both of his opponents, crowd responded to a moonsault plancha by Guevara with chants of "You still suck." And Danielson and Garcia trapped the opposition in stereo submission holds. And Jericho attempted a powerbomb to Danielson through the timekeeper's table, but the latter landed back first on the edge. And then Jericho delivered a suplex to complete the spot. 3.5, 3 3/4 of a star. So second best fight of the night. MJF and Yuta I thought was a smidgen better. So not much more to say. Let's get to the overall review.
All right, so let's go over overall review. Obviously, total agreement here. Excellent AEW show. Another 8 out of 10. It was good. It was good to great to amazing. There was really nothing bad here. It just was, it had its moments. It just didn't have what we were expecting, whatever you want to say. To me, it was good. It was solid. Anthony, it's yours.
8. It's 8 to 8.5 for me. Only one bad match, and that was Luchasaurus's delicious squash. But other than that, all the other matches were solid to good to great. A couple of good segments here and there. So I thought it was definitely a step up from last week, no question. So 8.5 for me. Bullock, take this home, and then we'll get into our preview of Colton Broncos for tomorrow night.
Yeah, 8 for me. I mean, this was a really good edition of AEW Dynamite. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to add on to it. So let's get on to our preview of Thursday Night Football.
All right, and with that said, we do indeed move on to Thursday Night Football, as this week it will be the Denver Broncos going up against the Indianapolis Colts, and the game will be on, of course, Amazon Prime Video, and you already know who that's going to be: Al Michaels and our boy Herbie, Kirk Herbstreit. The game will be held at Empowered Field at Mile High. For all you fans on Westwood 1, check your local listings and the date and times in your area, because it will be Tony Baselli and Iron Eagle on the coverage. And for all you fans in Indianapolis, not now, I'm going radio. Anthony can hit you with the TV, but for radio, you can log on to the Fan 1070 or Hank FM 97.1. This is for Indianapolis, as it will be Matt Taylor and Rick Ventine, former Colts player and NFL coach, and Laura Overton will be doing the sideline reporting for the Denver Broncos. It will be on KOA News Radio and Fox and KOA News Radio AM 850 and 94.1, or you can get it on the Fox 103.5. And the commentators for this game will be Dave Logan, and he will have and his partner will be Rick Lewis. They will be the commentators for the game. All right. As I was, and one other part is that it's Tyler Pembulis, or Columbus Pembulis, will be the sideline reporter for the Denver Broncos. Now, the big story coming out of this is that Jonathan Taylor, the wide receiver, the star running back for the Indianapolis Colts, has been deemed inactive. He will not play on tomorrow night. That's a major blow for for Indianapolis. And for me, I think that's going to be a difference maker. I like Denver at home. I think Russell Wilson will figure it out. I think the defense will definitely come into play on this. And without Jonathan Taylor, without one of your biggest weapons, that puts a lot more pressure on Matt Ryan. I don't think that's going to be enough for them. Give me the Denver Broncos to beat the Indianapolis Colts. 27-13 is my final score. Anthony Florio, hit us with all of the other schematics for the game.
First things first, MF. In addition to Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit, you've got the beautiful Kaylee Hartung on the sidelines working with them. So you can't leave her out. She's outstanding and amazing at what she does. No doubt about that. All right. Now, let me see what I have. Okay. All right. Now, in addition to Amazon Prime Video, for those of you in Indianapolis and in Denver, you can watch it on your local ABC affiliates. For the fans in Indianapolis, you can watch it on WRTV ABC 6 in Indianapolis. And for those of you in Denver, you can watch it on your local ABC affiliate, KMGH ABC 7 in Denver. So there's that. Series history favors the Denver Broncos 14-11. Their last meeting was 3 years ago, 2019 in Indianapolis. The Colts won that 15-13. Last meeting in Denver was 2016. Denver won that game 34-20. The Colts have not won in Denver since January of 2015 when they upset Denver in the AFC divisional playoff, 24-13. Their last regular season win in Denver, 2010, 27-13. So there's all that. And Denver, I just want to, my thing's a little slow here. From what I can see here, from what I can surmise here, I just want to be 100% sure. Denver opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. I don't know if that's changed because of the Taylor injury, but I have 3.5 as the spread in favor of Denver. So, well, 3. It's 3 to 3.5. That's it. 3 to 3.5 is the spread in favor of the Denver Broncos. So, not much more to say except the Broncos dropped a tough game at the Las Vegas Raiders last week and also lost their running back Javonte Williams with a knee injury for the season, ACL and MCL. MF, you know all about those injuries. The good news is they got Russell Wilson going in the downfield passing game and face a struggling back seven in coverage this week. The Colts obviously will not have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, and they will also be playing another game without defensive leader Shaquille Leonard with a concussion. They have been awful on the road this season, and Matt Ryan will have a mostly rough night. I'm with UMF. I got the Denver Broncos winning this game. My final score, I'm going to say 24-13. The Denver Broncos defeat the Indianapolis Colts tomorrow night. So with that, Michael Bullock, take it home.
Yeah, if Jonathan Taylor was going to play in this game, then I would have leaned more towards Indianapolis. But no Jonathan Taylor, no Shaq Leonard. I just think that's going to be a tough order for the Colts. I mean, especially when you're going into Denver, and yeah, I got a Denver win here, so there's really nothing more to say here. So let's put a bow on this edition of Wednesday Night Madness.
All right, and indeed we will. Tomorrow night is a very special edition of College Football Thursday, and boys, we got ourselves quite a week, to say the very least. We got some really good matchups, top 25 wise. Obviously, we got Michigan, Indiana, BYU, and Notre Dame. TCU and Kansas just got interesting. We got a top 25 in the SEC with Tennessee and LSU. Auburn and Georgia, Ohio State and Michigan State, of course, Texas A&M and Alabama. But also, even though they're not ranked, we gotta talk about it, guys. Red River rivalry.
And that will lead off the show.
Texas and Oklahoma, and you heard it. That will be the jump off for the show because it's a high noon kickoff from the legendary Cotton Bowl in Texas, Dallas, Texas. So we're gonna have that. That's at 10:30 tomorrow night. Then, of course, we have ourselves our special. We'll have a very special edition of Cerebral Smack Talk, SmackDown, AEW Rampage. We got that. Then Saturday.
Don't forget the preview of Extreme Rules.
Preview Extreme Rules. And then Saturday, well, actually, yeah, did we decide what we want to do with the NFL? Were we doing it Saturday?
Yeah, we said we were going to do it following Extreme Rules.
Okay, we were doing it after Extreme Rules. So after Extreme Rules is that. Then on Sunday is the recap of Extreme Rules. And then we'll do it all over again on Monday. So have a good night, everybody. So long for now. For Anthony Floyo, from Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher. We'll see you tomorrow night.